You're doing great.
Thanks.
It was loose. I mean, they had rules, but they were not strict on it.
And we also had an honor code, which I think is pretty cool and pretty unique. Like, our lockers weren't locked. Everyone was kind of expected to act with integrity and treat everyone else with respect. I think that's kind of what the headmaster said and what our teachers explained to us and expected.
Well, since K4, I feel many of the expectations have been instilled in us to basically be obedient, follow the rules that most likely came in a syllabus given to you at the beginning of the year.
It was pretty laid back. I mean, we had write-ups, but they didn't really mean anything. You just expected to act somewhat civilized. I mean, you couldn't start fights. You couldn't just bring drugs and that type of thing to school. But other than that, it was just kind of a common sense, don't be stupid.
I would say it was enforced pretty strictly. Pretty much the only two things we had was corporal punishment and ISS or Saturday school for the most part. And that was about it.
What do you mean when you say corporal punishment?
Oh, well, corporal punishment. Pretty much you would. Sometimes you're given the option of corporal punishment and ISS. Corporal punishment is basically take a piece of wood, what they would call a paddle, and you basically go in, put your hands on the desk, and they'll have like another teacher come in as a witness, and they'll just give you how many paddles or licks or whatever that they assigned you. So usually 3 to 5 maybe.
As far as actual disciplinary action goes, it was very rare for somebody to have anyone higher than a teacher talk to them. Of course, it being so small, everybody kind of shared an amount of authority, but it was kind of more of an honor system, really. We all just didn't really want to get in trouble.
I disagree with the dress code, not being able to have your hair colored or being able to wear jeans with ripped holes in them. I disagree with that.
Why'd you disagree with it?
I feel like that has nothing to do with your education, and it's not a distraction. If somebody wanted to come to school with red hair, that was their choice. That shouldn't be a distraction to the other students.
Like, one of the things that I thought was kind of silly was that we weren't allowed to be on our phones during study hall. I kind of felt like we should be able to use that time how we wanted if it wasn't actually dedicated to class anyways. Just kind of nitpicky, like our socks had to be a certain color and our shoes couldn't be too flashy, and like I think nail polish had to be kind of toned down too, and
Makeup.
yeah,
Minimal makeup.
Minimal makeup. Well, I don't mind that, but like boys, if their belts were the wrong color, they'd get in trouble.
Most of all in high school, the cell phone rule, I feel like cell phones can be a powerful source, especially when it comes to dealing with new discoveries, I guess you could say, like in the field of science. I feel like if someone uses it correctly, then it can definitely be a key.
Not really. Like I said, it was pretty laid back. I hated the dress code. Like, I had to wear a collared shirt every day. But other than that, like, we got drug tested too. I don't really, whatever. But
Probably the biggest rules, like the cell phone issue, they didn't make a big deal out of it. Now, it's not as big of a deal as it used to be, but probably like just not being, they don't want you to have your cell phones. Now I think they're just more acceptable of people having them. It's not a big deal anymore.
No, definitely not. Everybody did not receive the same punishment. There were some kids that got away with things, maybe because they played sports or there was just the teacher's favorite, versus some other student that would have got disciplined for that same action.
Some teachers weren't as sensitive to being tardy, whereas other teachers were really strict about that and would actually not let you in the class, if you got there late. I think that the students who were more kind of like the class clowns almost, and kind of pushed the limits on a more regular basis, I think they were disciplined more harshly than other students who normally followed the rules.
Like I said before, different administrators have different tactics, and it also, I guess you could say, it has a correlation with their level of administration. The higher up, the more strict they were, but other than that, they all basically carried out the same exact rules. Definitely one group was more severe than others. I feel like students with predominantly honors or AP or IB classes were dealt with less, or with a lower manner, I guess you could say, than people who were in like standard CB classes.
Most of our teachers are pretty laid back. For the most part, they kind of had the same guidelines, I guess. Just don't be stupid. Don't act out too much. There were a few people that constantly got in trouble, so they were like under the radar more. So they kind of got disciplined in a different manner. They were always on the lookout for something. So to them it was somewhat unfair, but they put themselves in a position sometimes. So yeah.
Definitely say some teachers were more lenient than others, and that people weren't disciplined equally. Like where I'm from, football is a big thing, and so kind of if you're football and you're well known, your punishment is usually like less severe. They kind of let the football coaches handle it instead of it going through like the disciplinary system as far as the principal. I think obviously, like I said, there were less lenient staff or teachers or whatever, but for the most part, I mean,
sometimes it would be really unevenly enforced, and some people would get called out all of the time, while other people would wear stuff that technically wasn't correct, but nobody would say anything. And usually the split was down the line between the people who maybe got in trouble a little bit more or didn't have the good grades, and the people who had the really good grades.
Yes, in general, I think that the consequences were fair and justified by the infractions, especially larger issues like cheating or being dishonest.
For the most part, they gave you a lot of opportunities. Like I said, the write-ups didn't mean anything until the 5th time. So if you were to get in trouble for something, it was usually like significant.
No, I think sometimes the consequences were a little severe. Like they would give you, sometimes you get a warning, and the second time it's just like, oh, you go sit in ISS for 3 days. And like I said, it kind of just pretty much depended on who you were and whether the principal, the guy, whether he liked you or not. Luckily, he liked me, so I got some chances to get out of some stuff. But it just like if you're like kind of repeat person, or they had problems with you in the past. Even though a new year comes, it's just like, hey, you come in the first time and you're gonna get like ISS or corporal punishment. They're really quick to get rid of you, I would say, if they see you as a problem.
Not a lot of people got in trouble, and the only time that somebody really got in trouble, they were just straight up expelled. The disciplinary system, it seemed like either nothing ever happened, and it was just like a small like, hey, stop doing that, or someone really messed up and got into big trouble.
Probably fight or bring drugs in school probably would be the worst thing for you to get severe punishment there.
And what was like the least severe?
Skipping class or something like that.
I think it kind of goes back to integrity and kind of the disciplinary system being built on the honor code and kind of a general expectation for people to respect one another. And so I think that's why that kind of determined the scale, if that makes sense. So whether something was kind of just a flippant kind of lazy, almost disregard for the rules, as opposed to which would have kind of smaller consequences, whereas if something was kind of a purposeful, thought through disrespect for the teacher or for the rule itself or for fellow students, I think that would kind of merit a more kind of a harsher disciplinary action.
I guess the least severe consequences would be like a violation of the dress code, and the most severe would be like the typical physical fights and such.
Smallest thing is probably just like dress code. Like that's something small. Like I've been written up for being late to class, which is stupid, but I don't really care. But the biggest thing is just like failing the drug test.
I mean, I don't think we had detention or anything, so I mean, they give you a few warnings, but after that, it's just high assist, corporal punishment. Usually, like if you're late or have tardy issues, it'll be Saturday school, or attendance issues, it'll be Saturday school. Severe, obviously, would be like someone getting into a fight or something, but as far as disciplinary action for that, they really just take you to jail. Like if you get in a fight, you go to jail.
Yes, but not for all students. Like I said, all students are different.
Do you think there could have been like a better way for your school to manage behavior?
To be honest, I don't know, but I feel like they're trying their best, as well as probably every other school. It's difficult to deal with thousands or hundreds of kids who are completely different and still undergo one set of rules.
I think the only failure of our disciplinary system was that because it felt so strict and so honor code, it did lead people to feeling like they wanted to rebel somehow.
I think it worked. House school's house school. People are gonna do house school things. They let us be house schools. They let us do our thing, and we messed up.
I think oftentimes, especially being in college and joining different organizations, sometimes it feels like there are kind of rules just for the sake of having rules. But I felt that with our honor code in high school, I felt like the faculty and the administration really gave us a reason for the rules in cultivating this environment where it was based on integrity, and so respect for yourself and respect for one another, and rules being for the sake of treating others the way you would want to be treated and creating the kind of academic environment that you'd really want to learn in. And so I thought that it was a really good system.